Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. It is Sunday, a little after 8 o'clock in the morning, and today we're gonna play some stuff that I've been meaning to do for a while. First up, we've got one of the builds that I was personally very eager to be able to play when 2.4 came out, and that is a Summoner Druid. Uh, it's a great build, honestly. It's enjoyable, it survives, and it is, as far as I can tell, completely hell viable on one of the cheapest budgets I've ever used for a character, in total honesty. So we're going to start off the way that I would personally build this out is immediately, as soon as you can, put these 5 points in. You got 1 into Lycanthropy, Werewolf, Feral Rage, Rabies, and Fury. You only need 1. That's all you need to put into it, period. This is basically just a survivability thing. So, your primary is you're going to max out your 2 wolves, your bear, a sage, and your ravens. Now, my ravens aren't maxed out yet because I'm only level 80. If you want, you could do this a little differently than I did. You could max ravens out before you max out your sage. All just depends on how you want to play the game. This is the way I did it. So, 0 points in the elemental skills. This is just not an elemental build whatsoever. My gear. Now, the only expensive piece of gear, that I have on this entire build is a set of Drax. And even those can be replaced with Laying of Hands. And in a lot of cases, Laying of Hands will probably do a better job. But I really enjoy having Life Tap and that extra 8% life steal. And these are just great overall gloves for this build. Other gloves would give you increased attack speed, which would definitely be very helpful, but it's not at all necessary. So, first piece is Dracul's, and you can swap those out for other gloves if you don't have these. But this is the goal. You want to try and get these because they make survivability a lot better. Next up, Insight in an elite polearm of some flavor. What you can get your hands on is basically going to be just what you use. For a druid, a thresher is pretty much the best option just because of its base attack speed. I don't think I have any other increased attack speed on here. Oh, I've got 10% on my belt. And that's all that I have. And it's plenty. Especially for such a cheap build that is as capable as it is. So, you get your insight that helps with your mana recovery, and it does a lot of damage for being Ral Tier Tal Soul. One of the easier rune words in the game to get. It's right there with Spirit. Super easy, super cheap. Anybody can get it. There's no reason to not have one. Next up, Jalal's Mane. Mine happens to be perfect, but that's just me. It doesn't need to be. It could be anti-perfect, 150% enhanced defense, and it's still going to do the job the exact same way. Defense doesn't matter that much for this build. Very few things in this game actually need you to have a high defense, and this isn't one of them. So, Jalal's, because the rest of the stats are just gravy. It's the best helmet you can put on a druid, unfortunately. I wish there was better, but there isn't. But this is still quite good. My amulet, just a 3 shapeshifting's amulet. You can replace this with almost anything. You can gamble these. You can find them. If you want, you could use a summoning +3, or you could use like an Eye of Etlich, which is +1 to all, but also gives you more life leech. lots of different options. This is just the one that I'm using for this build right now. You could put a High Lord, you could put a Cat's Eye, a Crescent Moon if you wanted more Leech. Lot of options for this build in this slot. Next up, just a basic Skin of the Viper Magi. I was running a Nodge's armor, which is that, which also works very well. A lot more defense, gives you life. The damage taken goes to mana is always nice. But, you know, if you don't have Nodge's armor, the Skin of the Viper Magi is just as good. Actually gives you a little bit more resistances, a little bit more cast speed. But, again, less life. Some boots that I have. Basically, your boots are just whatever boots you have that you can throw in the slot. You could run Tearhaunch Greaves if you wanted. They're the Paladin boots that give plus to Vigor, 5 to Dex, 5 to Strength, and I think 5 to all resistances. Good little boots, cheap, easy to get. You can run almost anything in your boot slot because this build is much more skill dependent than gear dependent. So, there's those. I'm running a Ravenfrost and a Life Leech Ring. Any Ravenfrost will work. It's more for the Cannot Be Frozen than the rest of the stats, but the rest of the stats are fantastic for this build also. But again, it's more for the Cannot Be Frozen. So, any stats will do. And my second ring, I'm using... Yes, it's got a bunch of strength on it, but you don't need to have one with strength on it. You can get anything that's got a good life leech on it, and that'll fill this slot. You could use a Cathin's ring if that's all you have. And it'll do just fine. So... and for a belt, I'm running a Nosferatu's Coil. String of Ears would work just as well, maybe actually even a little better because it's got damage reduction as well. Again, it's the life leech that you're looking for. The rest of the stats are gravy. As you can see, I do not have an Annihilus or a Hellfire Torch anywhere on this build. Yes, I've got some halfway decent resistance charms. Again, as I've said, 1,000 times, this is all just stuff that I found throughout playing. That if I've got a resistance charms loadout and a damage charms loadout that I swap around between characters just depending on what I'm doing. This happens to be the resistance charms loadout because you need resistances, especially on a cheap build. You can get these charms in Nightmare Cows. If you've got a Horker Barbarian, you can just run around following a group of friends or even just randos in public lobbies. You can just run around, hork cows, and you'll get charms. It's easy. I don't know what else there really is to say about it. Charms should... Yes, the really high-end charms, they're a little harder to get. And a lot of the time you'll have to trade for them because RNG, random number generation, is not always your friend. And oftentimes it's going to be your worst enemy in this game. It's going to... fighting against RNG is going to be harder than the monsters in the game, frankly. So, you're not always going to get the charms you want. But you can still get a very good charm loadout. Without any problem. You just got to play the game. And this build will help you get those charms built up, if you will. So we've got resistances. I got 4 plus 20 to life charms. 8 poison resist just to bring that up a little bit. And I have 4 plus 1 to summoning skills charms. Literally, I've found all of these. They're one of the more common skill grand charms that you'll see. And if you don't have any and you don't want to hunt for them, you can trade for them very easily because this isn't a super popular build. It's not like a Hammered In or, a Blizzard Sorceress where people are overcharging insanely for the gear. Summoning grand charms are easy to get. Quite easy to get. A little bit of time, a little bit of effort, a little bit of patience, and you'll have them. I only have 4. I don't think I actually need more than that for this build, especially considering I want to be able to have resistances, etc. So, moving on. My mercenary is running a steel skull cask. You could replace this with a Talrash's mask to pretty much the same effect. I'm just using this for the life leech and the increased attack speed. It comes with a base of plus 10 increased attack speed. I put a 15 jewel in it for 25 total. That's the whole point of this helmet, is just to leech, and it'll make you attack a little faster. Anybody can find this, or, like I said, you can use a Talrash's mask, which is even more common, and provides very good leech, resistances, life, etc. A Duriel shell for his armor because it's Duriel shell. Easy to get, good amount of resistances, plus the strength, plus the life. Cannot be frozen. Like, this is one of the best budget armors you can get, really. That you can just find 100 of them easily. So, those two pieces, they work quite well together. Especially if you've got a beast like this. Helko Thul Ethfal. Obedience. One of the easier rune words to get. The only... It's got 2 mid runes, like low mid runes. Ko and Fal. You do, Countess runs on Nightmare difficulty or Hell difficulty. You're going to be rolling in Helko and Fal runes. I've got an entire mule full of them because you just get them that often. And this is one of those really good rune words because you could put it in an ethereal weapon. Just look at it. The stats speak for themselves, realistically. The damage is always going to be 370%. You can put it in a perfect 15 superior. You'll get a 385 every time. As you can see, that's over 1,000 printed damage on the weapon if you put it in an ethereal cryptic axe. That's going to be over 1,100. I don't know the exact math off the top of my head, but it'll be over 1,100 if you put that in a superior one. And that's, for a mercenary weapon, for such a low investment, you're not going to find a better one. Period. You could use like a steel pillar or something if you have it and you don't have this, but it's going to do half the damage. In fact, I have one on here that I was using. Give me just a moment. Right there. 115 to 623 on a 250 roll. Great pike, don't get me wrong, but this is better for a mercenary. And it's cheap, anybody can get it. Now, moving right along, since I've spent way too long on just my gear, we're going to show you. So I've hotkeyed all my summons, starting at F4. If you're playing on a controller, you can set it up however you want. I don't play on a controller, so I'm definitely not the person to talk to about it. So... and then, since you've got meditation on, you just watch your mana climb back up within seconds. Throw on Werewolf. Come out to the Frigid Highlands. Slap stuff around. You're not doing a ton of damage, 3467 on the top, but you don't need to because you've got all your minions as a nice buffer. So, even if you end up taking some damage, you can just run away. As you see, rips through that pretty easily. Something I do gotta make sure that I mention, though, because it actually happened to me last night when I was setting this guy up. Make sure you're prepared if you're going to do bail runs, because you will run into packs of immune to physicals. So having something to deal with them is always nice. Alternatively, you can run through them. But that is riskier. So, as you can see, you're just gonna rip through pretty much everything. Shank's dead. He didn't drop anything good, unfortunately, but, you know. Such is life. Such is RNG. You come down here. Anytime you go between acts, you're gonna have to swap back into werewolf form because it does knock you out. I don't know why. It just does. I like having Feral Rage because you can build up charges. That's life leech. It's increased movement speed. Some of this stuff is gonna take a little while to actually get through, but it's completely possible. It's more time consuming than difficult. No, you don't have a, 4 or 5 frame attack speed, but again, this is probably one of the cheapest builds I've ever made, and you don't really need it. I ain't gonna bother with the experience shrine because they're just gonna curse me and take it away within seconds. And there is the life tap, which I am so fond of because not only does it help to keep you alive, it keeps your bear alive, it keeps your dire wolves alive. It's just a good thing to have. Keeps your mercenary alive. And when, he's doing 5,000 damage, when you're stealing half that, you're gonna be alright. Now, I wouldn't mind a little more attack speed, and you can certainly build it out to have more, but it's not required. Just recast your guys when you need to. And you've got plenty of mana to do it. Pretty much anytime you want because of meditation. Yeah, it might take a little while to get through them all, but you're pretty safe doing it. And you could end up with a lot better life than I have with better gear, because right now I only have 2,800. But that's still a good amount, really. And you should be able to clear these difficulty or hell difficulty pretty easily. I'll check out what those are later. Oh. And that's something you really want to be careful of. Coming out of werewolf when you're in the middle of a pack or just about to jump into a pack. It will get you killed if you're not real careful. But for the budget this is hard to argue with. Like, I've always been a fan of the Druid, but summon was never really viable because you couldn't have enough critters out at a time. Now you can, and it's completely viable, even on, like, the tightest budget. Now, I know some people are going to try and say this isn't budget because it's got a perfect Jalals. It doesn't need to be perfect. Any Jalals will work, and Jalals is one of the easiest class-specific uniques that you'll find. Nightmare Mephisto drops it. So, well, yeah, you're going to spend some time in here doing it. It's pretty safe to come through here and just wipe out the Chaos Sanctuary. And then you can just recast whatever you need to at will, because you never have a mana problem. Sure if I took myself out of that on accident by pressing on the wrong hotkey, but so while this is certainly not the best build that you'll ever come across on the internet, it's cheap and it works. And if you don't have a ton of, you know, godly gear, this is probably a really good way to get there. Because you can use this build to just farm. Now, the biggest downside to the way that I play is you got to recast your Ravens a lot. Because they only have so many hits. They don't die, so to speak. They can just only hit so many times. And you could argue that you don't even really need the Ravens, but more is always going to be better. Now, if you don't have an Obedience, and you have, like, a Reaper's Toll, that'll work pretty well, too, honestly. As long as you play smart and safe, you're gonna be hard-pressed to find better and cheaper. You can find cheaper, you can find better, but getting both, that's going to be a trick. Something to keep in mind is when you go to fight Diablo, just kind of come out of werewolf form and go back into it, so that way you're not risking untransforming, detransforming, whatever, going back to normal while you're fighting Diablo. You probably won't die if you're quick about getting back into it, but why take the risk? It takes 2 seconds to recast werewolf. Let them engage and then come in for support. Wrong hotkey. I do that. It happens. I'm getting old. I'm not playing this like an esports title. I'm not looking to have, you know, 1 million actions per minute. None of my builds are going to be like that, frankly. I don't enjoy playing hectic like that. That's why I'm not really a fan of running like a Blizzard Sorceress as my main magic finder go-to, because it's hectic. You're swapping between skills way too much. And that's just not the way I enjoy playing. You lure them, and then you kill them. Ah, immune to physical. Good example. This is why I like having my regular wolves, because they'll deal with immune to physical. Might take them a little while, but they'll do it. Hey, level up. Nice. Do that. I'm gonna let them deal with him. Put another one into my ravens. Unfortunately, durability is a factor when it comes to your weapon. So at some point, you're going to want to get something that's either higher durability or indestructible. I've repaired this thing so many times since I made it. You can see it takes a little while, but you'll get there. Alright, he's dead. Still got 11 on durability. That should be enough to take out Diablo. Let your critters tank him and sneak around back. Not difficult at all. I mean, it's like one-handed gameplay. And then he's dead. Didn't drop anything that I need, but you get the point. Oh no, I don't have any town portals. That's fine. Because it's that quick and easy to just get back into a new game. But, as I had said before, make sure you keep your weapon repaired, because it will bite you. Hey, I have viewers! I'm actually sober. Like, I just woke up. I've only been up for, I don't know, 2 hours, hour and a half, something like that. My inebriation begins much later in the day. But you enjoy that. Now, typically, I'm more just ADD, ADHD, so my thought process isn't always the most coherent. Alright. Let's go slap around Bale if we can. And these guys are why I like having high resistances. Because lightning damage really hurts. pattern I've found when coming through here is go right off of the waypoint. That should bring you... Yeet. Oh, that's why. Spirit died. Yeah, these guys you gotta be a little more careful with, but you can still rip through them pretty safely. Snakes still hurt though. Good God. Out of there. And if you want, you could run this just a straight summon build, run a couple of spirits instead. And you won't have your own personal clear speed like you do with this, but good God, they hurt. You'll have more skills into your summons, and they'll do a little bit of a better job. I still think that the hybrid setup is probably the best way to go as far as summon druid is concerned. Because clear speed, your critters aren't that fast, frankly. I mean, more skills into it obviously is going to help, but you're still kind of limited. As with any of my builds, this is not, by any stretch, the be-all, end-all way to do this. My thought is, you gotta have room to do things your own way. This just happens to be gear that works really well together with this skill setup. And is a challenge while still being enjoyable. Ravens. And I haven't personally deciphered the pattern for 3 to 4 yet, but like I said, from the waypoint to get to 3, usually it's just a right and follow that path off of the waypoint. What? Oh. I am never gonna not be surprised that I have viewers. It's praising me. You. There we go. That's another thing. If you get somebody that's casting Holy Freeze on you, kill them as quick as you can, because that's going to help you in the long term. Come on. Go. Junk. Yes, I know I can do a lot better with my potion management, my scroll management. But again, I'm not looking to do this like an esports game. I'm not competing against anybody but myself here. Which is why I play solo most of the time. I don't want to have to compete with people for loot, for kills, etc., etc. So, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wish that I could do Players X online. Because most of the time I'm just not interested in playing with a bunch of other people. The extra difficulty doesn't bother me, because I can build for that. I think this is going to be one of your best either new player builds or like start of ladder builds, because everything is so cheap and easy to get. Another thing I wish we had was a timer that told us how long we had left on our transformations. That would be fantastic. Wouldn't change the balance of the game in any way. It would just mean that you're not going to get caught out accidentally. And that's all of them. So, you know, just glance up, make sure that everybody's good. And I'll die pretty quick. Now, my personal suggestion is stay somewhere down here. Because once you get into waves 3 through 5, they can hurt pretty bad. Just by the nature of the game. They hit hard. It will take longer if you sit out the fight and just cast, but it's still completely possible. That's all of them. That's all of them. Again, This is all super budget. I'm not running a swap of any sort. Nothing on my second hand at all. And don't get caught. That's all of them. And then be real careful because these guys hurt. Especially when they cast Conviction on you. If they have elemental damage anyway. But it does lower your resistance, or your defense as well, so careful with that too. And when your ravens time out, just recast them. That's them. Gonna grab up some mana potions here, because that was a problem last time when my weapon broke. And hopefully that won't be happening again this time. I've got 19 durability. But, again, be aware of it. Be cautious. Come down, and you slap. I usually run past him a little bit, so that way your critters have the opportunity to come up and get with it. But they're just being kind of dumb right now. Come on, guys. There we go. Recast my spirit. Suppose you don't really even need your spirit at this point, but still always nice to have. Come on, cast. There we go. And like so. Grab your thingy. And it's that simple. It's a great build. It's completely viable through, as you can see, all of hell. I would not try to do the Ubers, though. You'll be there all day. Just, they're way too tough. You might survive it, but it's going to take you all day. Not literally, obviously. There's some hyperbole thrown in there just to prove the point. Hyperbole, hyperbole. Pronounce it how you want. I'm not a stickler. Alright, what time is it? 8:50. So that's that build. That is my Summoner Hybrid Fury Druid that just, on the cheapest shoestring budget you can think of, is able to slap Bale around with relative ease. Bale, Diablo, anything that isn't an Uber or a clone, basically. If you're just soloing, I can't think of a better way to do it. Especially on a budget. So, That being said, I'm not going to keep playing him right now because I really just wanted to get that in there. Honestly, I'm probably going to clip that and have that be its own video for other people as well. So that way you don't have to try and find that in amongst a stream. And now we'll get on to the stream type stuff, like farming and finding items and chewing the fat. So, how's everybody? What do we got? 4 concurrent. So I got 4 people watching right now. Hello, 4 people. Or is it 6? I don't know. This thing is confusing at times. I'm still trying to figure out what the analytics are here. Get on to that. Where? Nihilus. Probably on her. Yep. Chuck that back over there. It's another relatively easy build to make. Is a Hydra Sorceress. Yes, I have 8 fire charms here. And then some magic find charms that I found. The torch is not a sorceress torch. I'm literally just using it for the +10/+10. It's the worst torch that I have, but I don't have an assassin and I don't have a sorceress torch. So this is where it goes. Because it's just a little bit extra. It helps. Everything helps. And then you come down here. Pretty much always going to be left off of your waypoint. Cast your Hydras. Kill. Repeat. Got another set in there too. Neither are worth it. Alright, let's settle into this grind. See if we can find something good. It's not always going to be, like, immediate that you find it, like I just did that first one. Sometimes you're going to run around the entire map, and then you're still going to be like, where is it? And it's going to be somewhere in the middle, because that's just how they do. And you just cast your Hydras, they do the work. And amulet. What do we got? Atmas, nice. That's my second Atmas. Try not to get clubbed to death by telestomping. That is an unfortunate truth about these runs, though, is even the best geared sorceress sometimes is just going to get stomped into oblivion by the mobs that you accidentally teleport into when you're getting down to Mephisto. This is a case of the down to level not being immediate left, so you just keep going. Again, this is not at all a budget build. Stomp and run away. Heal up. I'll run this for, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it ends up being. Hey, nice. Please be Eth. Nope. Not even a good one. Hey, I got more viewers. Welcome to the stream. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. I know I am. Yes, this would be faster if I had... Oh, what the hell is it? I'm totally drawing a blank on the name of it. The pokey stick for your mercenary with conviction. That I don't have. Which is probably why I can't remember the name of it right now. Thanks, ADD. Infinity. That's what it is. See, when I stop trying to remember what it is, I remember what it is. I don't remember what half of this stuff is until I pick it up. Alright, I'm gonna grab my cup of coffee real quick. I'll be right back. Told you I'd be right back. I love coffee. Even more viewers. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. After I do this run, now that I'm remembering that I went and swapped it into my shared stash, I'm going to go grab my Istid Oculus. Because the difference in kill rate is negligible, and I will happily take another 75 magic find. Currently running Heart of the Oak because it's just that good. It's not the best one. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Yeah, Heart of the Oak at 34%. It works. I am not too late. Tentacle monster. But I would say that this definitely goes to show that you don't need a map hack if you're just doing this sort of thing. Build yourself a solid tanky Sork. Even though she's not really that tanky, she's just got to be able to survive. One. So we keep on going. There it is. Junk. Before I forget yet again, because even though I said it, I didn't do it. We're gonna. There we go. A little bit less resistances, a little bit less cast, but 80% magic find. That actually put me at 402. Sure, people have a lot better than that, but realistically, once you get past 300, the diminishing returns are, they are real. Alright, what do we got? Boots. Junk. Charm. Don't need it. I'm gonna go put those in my stash. Just to give myself a little bit more space. But this, doing telestomping like this, is actually exactly why I keep my map in the original form of just big and right in the middle of the screen. Teleport. Because for me, it's just easier to see where you're going that way. Woohoo, I'm up to 13 viewers. Concurrent. I think that's tie for my record. Be cool if I could beat that. Drunk. Fun fact, I don't have Stones of Jordan on. Random little piece of information there. Because, yeah, you really don't need them for this build. They certainly would help, but they're not necessary. Probably gonna be one of those ones that's in the middle. Knowing my luck. Oh. And then you just toast him. Oh, I already beat it. Shattered. Sorry your comment didn't get posted immediately. I do have a profanity filter enabled. I try to keep this pretty PG. I have a habit to go off on tears and use quite a bit of vulgarity, so just as a heads up, if you use vulgarity in chat, depending on what it is, I'm probably just gonna allow it to go through, but there is a filter that stops it before it just goes through. Oh, no worries. No worries at all. I was just letting you know. That was why your comment didn't show up, like, immediately. Because I had to alt-tab over, see that it had actually stopped it from going through, and manually allow it to go. But I'm definitely happy to have everybody here. I just know that the YouTube algorithm is weird about content which isn't like kid friendly, even if you're not actually like intending to be, you know, having kids as your audience. It's still weird about it, so I'm just trying to give myself as many advantages as I can. So like if you had ever seen me watch or play Overwatch, you'd know what I mean about just kind of going off. That's actually why I had to stop playing it. It was like, I'd get so wound up, and it's just not good to, like, it's bad for your mental health to get that wound up, especially over a game. So, that's why I don't really do that anymore. At some point when Overwatch 2 comes out, I'll definitely be checking it out because it's free to owners of original Overwatch, so it might as well. I mean, they're going free to play overall, so junk. Holy crap. How long am I streaming? Planning on going hopefully until noon if I can sit still that long. Unfortunately, I got sciatic nerve damage in my back, so sitting for a long time, it ends up being really painful. So that's why I try and keep things to videos and less streams. Just for my own pain's sake, honestly. But it's, you know, 9:12 a.m. now. My goal is noon, maybe 1 o'clock. I do still have other stuff to do today because it's a Sunday. It's the only day of the week I actually have off. So, adulting is a real thing that I gotta do, unfortunately. See what the numbers on the Nats boots are. Not great. Come on. Magic finding on fire builds. That's actually kind of a tricky one, honestly. Everything being immune to fire is why I don't actually use my fire sorcerers that much anymore. It's primarily just a Mephisto runner at this point for me. You can, if you've got a group of people, you can use it as a good damage dealer for doing bail runs. Unfortunately, you still come down to the minions of destruction are immune to fire, though. So you're definitely going to want to have somebody else there with you to give you a hand with that if you don't have the ability to deal with it yourself. Some people will spec into Frozen Orb as well as whatever their fire skills are for specifically that purpose. Yes, I I wish I could give up adulting, but bills don't agree. I can confirm. Nope, wrong one. These ones are still a little confusing to me as to which direction you should actually go when it's in a weird spot like that. So these are the ones that actually take me a little longer to figure out where I'm supposed to go. I mean, I know it's obviously down to level 3, but it's like, where's the level 3 entrance? Like, do I start by going up and then left, or what? So, a lot of this stuff, even I'm still working on figuring out. Everything I know is basically just through 20 some odd years of gameplay. Things that I've figured out along the way, as well as, you know, stuff that I've been able to read from other people who know the numbers game a lot better than I do. So close. I'm starting to wish that I had remembered to set my second monitor up before I started this, so I didn't have to keep alt-tabbing out to see what people are saying. So yeah, if it takes me a second to actually get to you or whatever, that's why. It's just because I don't have my second monitor set up still, even though I said I was going to. But life has a habit of changing your plans for you. Please be ethereal! Oh, come on. Better than the one I'm using currently, though, I think. So we got 9, 141, 28. Oh. Okay. I'm not even using that on him. Huh. Nice. Alright, well. I got a second one now. Spider Cave. I actually haven't run Spider Cave yet, so I can't answer that with any level of honesty. I'd just be guessing. I know that they did a bunch of changes with 2.4, but I can neither confirm nor deny that they made changes to that to make it farmable with fire. Ow. Knock it off. Oh, is that 15 dex? It is. Damn. Now, if only those had better other stats to go with it. Yo. These gloves? Yep. Good if you're running poison, but I certainly don't. Poison really lost its flair after 1.09, unfortunately. Like, 109 poison was pretty much the way to go. But then 110 came out and really just kind of smacked around poison damage with the nerf hammer. Like, 110 was simultaneously one of the best and worst things to happen to Diablo 2. Because it introduced synergies, but unfortunately made a lot of the 109 builds unplayable for, you know, over a decade. Until 2.4 came around and made them viable again. Like, this build used to just straight up be a Fireball Meteor Sorceress up until 2.4 came out. And then I swapped her over to Hydra because, for what I use her for, it works as good or better. I dare say better. Like, you just melt Mephisto. Hey, nice. Come on. Stash that. God, I got a mule. Alrighty. No, nothing in particular. I'd like a better Ariats for my Barb. I think my current one is only a 156 or 158% with, I think, a 4% life leech. Like, it's one of the worst Ariats I've ever owned, but I don't have a better one right now. There's other stuff I just can't remember off the top of my head, but, like, I know it if I saw it kind of deal. Charms are always nice to get. Realistically, these days, Mephisto isn't the king of farming like he was previously, just because you've got so many options now. But he's still one of the best places for unique rings and amulets, some of the best gear in the game. I would like a better set of war traps, as my only pair is a 30%. So that would be good. I've gotten runes off him before. That was mostly in single player, but he does drop them. It's not impossible. Got a cham, however you pronounce it, off him a couple months ago. But I'm also only going to spend probably another 5 or 10 minutes with this, and then move on to either my Horker and do some council runs, because they're always profitable. And it's a good place to get runes. Or I'll jump over onto my Amazon, do some Chaos Sanctuary and cows, because cows are still good for runes and charms. And you've just got massive quantities of enemies that are real easy to just mow down with a bow. Alright, this is going to be my last one, and then I'm going to take a couple of minutes, use the restroom, nibble on some food, stand up, stretch out, because it's not a good idea to just sit for hours and hours at a time. Human body's not meant to do that. We just kind of force it to. Where are you at? There you are. Yep, unfortunately. See what percent those are. Only 53s. Great boots, but I already have enough of them. I'm just looking for ones that I can upgrade to perfect. Alright, so... swap that back over onto my Amazon real quick. Because, yes, I still only have the one. At some point, I'm either going to respec so that way I can use that one, or just put that into a much lower requirement bow, because I was dumb and did not give myself enough dexterity to use it when I respec'd recently. But, all that being said, I'm going to take a moment for me. It is 9:28 now. I'll be back in, I don't know, 10 minutes roughly. So hopefully I still got people hanging around when I come back. And if you decide to take off between now and then, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. But for now, I'm going to mute the mic and close the shutter on the camera and take a few minutes. And he said, "Let there be light." And there was. And it was good. Kinda. Alright. Let's go do some killing, shall we? Because this is my favorite character. I love my Boazon so much. And I did myself a little bit of a favor. I got my phone out and opened up my streams. That way I can see the chat without having to alt-tab every time. But I promise, next time I stream, my second monitor will be up and going. That way I can actually see the chat without having to bring my phone out or alt-tab or any of that extra malarkey. That a little bit. Aw. Still looking for a good base for an exile. Because at some point, I'll build out my paladin that I want. Because that's another one of my favorite builds, is just your basic zealot. Zealer. I suppose zealot is the proper way to say it, but meh. I'm not a stickler. Yeah, same. Like, I play Gran Turismo as one of the other games. Like, racing games, D2, they're pretty much my go-tos for entertainment these days. So at some point, you're probably going to end up seeing me post some Gran Turismo 7 content, some iRacing content. I'll check out the new Forza when it comes out, because as much as I absolutely loathed Forza 7, it had potential. It was just a wasted opportunity. But, yeah, motorsport is one of those, like, I went to school to be a motorcycle mechanic and then quickly realized after I got home to New England that it's not really a viable career for me, because people don't ride their motorcycles in New England year-round. I mean, some do, but we're talking, like, yeah, a 0.1% of the people who actually ride. So I'm a landscaper instead. But motorsport is my first love, my passion in life. there is no time that I am happier than if I'm on a racetrack, honestly. So, with actual racing being as expensive as it is for, you know, the vehicle, plus track time, plus your racing licensing, because, yeah, you do need those. It's just, for your average Joe like me, completely out of reach, unfortunately. But that is where sim racing comes in for me, because it's pretty damn close. Like, I've spent a lot of time on a track racing, driving in anger, if you will. And, oh, I can't even describe it. Like, it's my one true love, honestly, is racing. But it's expensive. And, frankly, terribly dangerous. The danger doesn't bother me as much as the expense. And I can remedy both of those through sim racing. Plus, virtual reality, pardon the phrase, was a game changer. I loved racing before, or racing games, I should say, because it gives you, you know, 90% of that same feeling as if you were actually on a track, as far as the chemicals in your brain. But, yeah, virtual reality made it so that way I could actually run like I do in real life, because you have depth perception that way. You're not just, you know, looking at a flat screen trying to... Your brain has less calculations to do, less conversions to do in the moment, and it's a lot easier to judge depth and speed and braking distances, so on. And yeah, the Quest 2, which is what I run for VR, in like iRacing, oh my god. It's such an amazing experience. I am a landscaper. Basically, I spend, you know, 90% of my time on the back of a mower. And then spring and fall, we're doing cleanups. If we end up getting ahead of schedule, then the owner of the company might pull us off to go do, like, construction of some sort. Like, we build retaining walls, walkways, patios. The boss designs pools. We pour for pools for, like, the concrete and whatnot. That I don't have as much of a hand in. Me personally, I'm lead mower for the company. Basically, I handle mowing and all the paperwork and the customer relations and that sort of thing. And it's a good gig, honestly. Like, it's the best money I've ever made in my life, which isn't really saying much. I think that's more of a condemnation of the system we live in. Like, I wish I made more money, but unfortunately you can't really, unless you love something weird, you can't really make a living doing what you love in this country. Or if it's like niche, you know. Scissor Swaya. What'd I miss? Was it up top, or... Like, I will, I just don't know where it is. Oh, right there. Junk, unfortunately. Also junk. Alright. Come here, you. Slap him around. Aw, killed my merc. Oh well. That's fine. It's just money. I can't complain that much. Ugh. You could have been a contender. Back there. But you weren't. Gotta remember to pick up some arrows along the way here before I run out. Wob. Yes, I know my IDing process is arduous. But it is what it is. That's what happens when you run a full charm stack. Hey, I still got 10 people in here. Awesome. Dr. Corbin is really good for a obedience for level 41 shapeshifter druid. But I am not a level 41 shapeshifter druid. That's something else I really hope they... Yeah, I wish I could honestly run with open space, but like I am seriously averse to dying, and I lost experience the other day or last week on stream actually, and I didn't even die. I came real close, but I was able to chicken out and exit the game before I actually died. Like, my gear was still on my body when I entered the next game and everything, but I had still lost the 10% experience because I came that close that the server thought I died, even though I didn't. It's a bug, but it's one that I'm actively working to avoid have happen. But what I was saying was a change that I wish they would make is make it so that way you can use tomes from your cube, or that items that you pick up if your inventory is full just automatically go into your cube. Like, that wouldn't change the balance of the game in any way whatsoever. It's something that they could probably implement relatively easy too. But, you know, whether they will or not, I doubt. Yeah, they're not going to listen to me. My name is not Llama. And that's okay. I'm not trying to be Llama. He's a nice enough guy from what I can tell, but too much energy for me. Like, it almost seems like it's just slathered on. Like... How you see me, this is who I am. Whether I'm on camera or not. Yeah, it was really weird. And I'm not the only person that's experienced that bug either, because I went and I googled it after it happened, because I wanted to see if other people had dealt with it also. And though, yeah, it's rare, I'm not the only person that's had it happen. It's just lag, basically, as far as I can tell. Any arrows around here while I'm waiting for him? Nope. Nothing good. Yeah, that was how I used to do it. Was I just have Deckard ID in the cube on Classic, so that's why, like, I'm still just breaking myself of that habit, I guess, and I haven't really gotten comfortable ditching, you know, those 2 slots in my inventory to put my tome or whatever. Like, I suppose I could get rid of something. Yeah, 219, 211. Yeah, I suppose I could do that way. Junk. 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 Nice. Congrats on the Infinity. I still don't have one of those. I would very much like to have one eventually, but it's just not top of my priorities list at the moment. Alright, let's get me some arrows. Wrong one. I swear, one of these days I'm gonna pick up a Hydra Edge and it's actually gonna be good. Like, that one is so close to being good. But in all my time playing, I've literally never seen a good Hydra Edge. Like, not once. You can't put any good rune words in it. It pretty much never rolls like a GG high damage roll. And I'm sure that some have, but none that I've ever found. Like, I even pick up Falchions and Talwars just to... because you can upgrade them. But even that is just... eek. That's some damage. Oh, that's why. Nice. Let's Insights or oh, for meditation. Yes, it does actually. You can put into prayer, and it will give you the life bonus for health regeneration while meditation is active from insight. It's actually a really good setup on that. And it also works for your Act 2 mercenary if you have a prayer mercenary. And you put insight on them. You get the not only the healing bonus from prayer itself, but the whatever the extra is that you get from running meditation also. I know I had 21 earlier, but like that was my peak concurrent since I started my channel. I need one of those. Surprisingly. Hey, I'll take it. Every view helps. Hey, fingers crossed. Like, I need 1,000 before I can make a penny off of any of this. And I need 4,000 watch hours. I'm at like 26 or 2,700 watch hours, so I'll definitely get that. Or I would assume I'll get my 4,000 required before I'll get the 1,000 subs. But it's going to happen. Like, as long as I just keep grinding away at it, doing my thing, people seem to enjoy the content, so I'm just going to keep on making it. Like, I'm not looking to get rich off of doing this. I'm just doing something that I enjoy, sharing it with other people, and if I can make anything off it, that's gravy. I mean, I'm doing something that otherwise I would have just been playing a video game. I generally would run a lot more Magic Find than this, but I'm looking more for, right now anyway, bases and runes. I need a 15 enhanced damage ethereal decapitator. That is like what I want most in the world right now. So that way I can make a death decapitator for my Druid. Because that is just absolutely disgusting. Check out that Dusk Shroud real quick. Durability. Figures. Oh, Lumrune. How you taunt me. Yeah, I am so happy they gave the Zon those buffs, honestly. Like, it, in patch 109, it was my favorite character. Like, patch 109 was when I spent probably my most time playing this game. And this build is why. And they basically made it non-viable from 110 up until they released 2.4 for Resurrected. Like, I was still playing the build, but you had to have absolutely insane gear to be able to do it and not be a liability. And even with all of this crazy gear that I got, it still was a wicked struggle. So yes, I am quite happy that the Zon got those very much needed buffs. On the whole, I think 2.4 is, 2.4 and up is the best state this game has been in close to 20 years. Like, more things are actually viable and playable now than they have been in an extremely long time. Junk. Yeah, exactly. Like, any game for it to not get stale has to have changes. Like, you might not always like those changes, but if you don't want everybody running, one build, the exact same build across the entire game, then changes have to happen. Boazon and Javazon at the time were pretty much OP, but that was more having to do with the items than the build itself that were available back then. Things like the Ith Bow, or just the Ith items in general, which were hacked items that there was like a 2-day span, I think, where Blizzard screwed up and the online BattleNet accounts were available offline. I don't remember the exact details, but a lot of people got a lot of illegitimate items into the game and circulated on BattleNet for years at that point. So that was how you had things like the Oculus Ring. That was how the Constricting Ring ended up in the game. That was originally in the game code, but nothing was capable of dropping it. And still nothing was able to drop it in those times, but people had copies of it because they were cheated in. Rabies, unfortunately, is garbage. I wish that weren't the truth because I really enjoy the Druid on the whole, but Rabies is just worthless. The duration is way too long. Like, way, way, way too long for it to actually be useful. It's just wasted skill points you could put into other things, and your return on investment is going to be significantly better. I wish it weren't so, but it is. Alright. Could really use some jaw roots. Come on, RNG. Ooh, a lot of critters. Yeah, I'm still looking for an alternative to that matriarchal bow for my harmony. Because I don't want to have to respec again just because I was dumb and didn't put enough points in. I don't run elementals. If it was half the duration, it would probably be a lot better, honestly. But as I had said a while back in this very stream, actually, 110 and onward, poison really just kind of got nerfed into the ground. Poison used to be king in this game, and now it's... They just killed it, unfortunately. Like, I'm sure there's a way to make it viable, but the gear investment would probably just not be worth it for your kill speed. Like, it's just not great, unfortunately. I'm sure it's usable in some way, but I wouldn't try to use it for something other than, like, maybe dealing with immune to physicals. You know, have your 1 point into it. And then, if anything, buff it with the skill synergies. Because Poison Creeper is a %. I just don't remember what off the top of my head because it's just not something I use. But I know that when you buff it through Poison Creeper, it doesn't increase the duration. So you could have the 1 point into it, and then so on and so forth. I mean, you might be able to work it with, like, something like cows, where there's just large groups of them and it's gonna spread to, you know, a lot of them or whatever, but play bear, there's no AoE or multi-target out of shockwave. That's true. Yeah. But they are really good at dealing with single targets. Like, really, really good. Fireclaw, I think, actually does a little bit less on the top end now than it used to. I don't remember what the percentages were or what they are currently. I don't generally run a lot of elemental-specific builds because they're very limited as to where they can play. So Fireclaw has never really been on my radar that much. But Maul is pretty solid, especially now that bears are uninterruptible. You don't have to worry about, you know, hit recovery or block rate, stuff like that. It happens in the background now. So you could run a Grief Maul Bear and do a lot of single target damage. But it's going to be like my big nasty Barbarian that I run. It's all single target. You don't really have any crowd control. But if you don't mind that it's a little bit slower pace overall, slower kill speed because it's single target, they're great builds. I mean, they can clear everything. It just takes you a little longer. But it's just as safe. Like, crikey. Let's see what this says. This says I have 17. Wow, my phone is really behind, huh? That's alright. Alright. Now the question is, did I do this one already? Nope. Because, yeah, sometimes I forget which one I've actually done, if I made a new game yet. Yada yada. These guys are always good for a quick, easy kill. Shank and his pack are pretty good for runes. Realistically, just everything right off of this waypoint is easy to kill and has good chances of dropping good stuff. Oh, that one's gonna hurt. Like, I really dig Quill Rats because they have a better chance to drop runes. So if you can find quill rats out here, kill them. Still looking for that 15% ethereal decapitator. We even got a socket quest saved just for it. Because I really want a death decapitator for my druid. Phone ended up off. Yes, I do prefer the wolf to the bear. You have better attack speed, slightly better life, I think, unless they buffed that in 2.4 and I just don't remember. You've got abilities like Feral Rage, which increase your life steal and your run walk. So you're not going to be using that to really kill anything. You just build your charges and every now and then, you know, right-click something to keep it built. It's like an aura that's on a timer that you can replenish. Plus Fury is... it's Fury. It's Zeal for Druids. But, truth be told, I haven't really spent all that much time on bear in general because it used to basically only be worth using bear for something like Fireclaw. But now that they've buffed other abilities, it might actually be viable now. I just haven't done enough testing to really have any opinion on it on the current patch. Or at least not an informed opinion. I'd just be guessing and talking out my butt. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather admit I don't know. And for the 10 billionth time, Diablo says, not even death can save you from me. And I shall prove him wrong again. Ta-da! Probably garbage, but... oh yeah. Big trash. For good damage and attack rating, but it's not really all that useful. Let's be the good one. Nope. Small charm, junk. Be bad if I needed it, but I just have better already. You dummy. Ring says junk. Alrighty. I am gonna take 5 to 10 minutes, use the restroom, grab something to drink, and I'm gonna come back and I think I'll jump onto my Horker. So actually, let me grab one of those town portals real quick. Just drop this in my stash. So that way I can use it on the Horker. No, I do not want to exit. Hork machine. Yes, I have a quite strange Hork build. But I enjoy it, and it works quite well. This, because it goes cannot be frozen, and you can have, what is it, 150 extra magic find by putting all Isterins in it. This is a great alternative if you don't have a really good magic find second weapon. Cannot be frozen is one of those things that I don't like playing without. But, as I said, I'm gonna take a big break. And I'll be back. And we're back. So, this is my Horker. He is pretty good. Obviously running a grief. It's the only grief that I have, but it happened to roll perfect 40 on the attack speed, so it's not going anywhere. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not re-rolling it. I'm not trading it. I'm gonna hang on to this one. My first grief of D2R, and it rolled a 40 IAS. Awesome. Shaco, because it's a Shaco. Rising Sun for the fire absorb, because you really need it, unfortunately, when you're dealing with the council. Could probably get away with using a Dwarf Star instead, but this is just a loadout I use because the charms, the rings, like, all together it works pretty well. That's right. But also, your kill speed's a little lower, but it's a lot safer if you run Drax. Because the council hurts a lot. So I'm going to swap off Laying of Hands. While great gloves, they just don't do what I need them to. Alright. I can guarantee my mark's just gonna die. Hell, even I might die. It does happen. But that's why I have life tap on my gloves. Because it makes it a lot less likely that you're gonna die. Pork all of these guys, and then I'll show you what the stats are. In case you're just not familiar with the build, haven't been here before, etc., etc. What's in there? Oh yeah. Charm. Alright, so for my main killing time, 451% magic find. When I'm actually horking, I'm at 361. Just because I'm using 2 spirit swords for the +2 to all skills. And frankly, it's hard to argue with the casting speed, because basically the quicker you can hork, the better. I don't really use Howl. If I'm gonna use support war cry, it's generally battle cry to make them easier to hit and for them to hit less hard. If I'm not using Drax, this is what I'm using for my war cry. I mean, at some point I'll probably give it a shot, but this is the way that I'm just kind of used to doing it. Ow. Good God. The physical. Let me get some leech. There we go. These ones hit hard. And I highly recommend zooming in because you will miss stuff otherwise. Junk. You enjoy that. Yeah, Hork got a wicked buff with 2.4 because now Find Potion synergizes, so you get an extra 20 on your base. You went from a 55 to a 75% chance. Best change they've made to the Horker ever, frankly. Like, it was worth it before. Now it's just disgusting. So they got a holy freeze. Stop running. Take the beating that I want to give you. Oh yeah, like that completely changed the way that I built this character because of the synergy buff to find item. Like I used to be able to have a whole lot faster kill speed, but I took the points that I was putting into either Concentrate or Berserk and put it into Find Potion because it's just worth it to. Yeah, it takes you a couple more hits to kill things, but it's 75% chance of more loot. Like, math is math. If I needed it, that would be nice, but I don't. That's it. And you can throw a couple of berserks in there just for the extra damage every now and then if you've got, you know, your full life or whatever. You don't need the leech. That's why I use concentrate more than I do berserk. It's because it helps. You can't leech with berserk because it transfers all of your physical damage into magic damage. So there's no physical damage to leech with. Oh, nice. So we got let's check our haul. Junk. Junk. And I'm out of ID scrolls. Nice. Junk. And junk. And I missed the blade talons. Oh, well. Charm. Only a large. Oh, Alder's boots. Chuck those in my stash and then go give them away sometime. Nothing else. Yeah, a good rare ring would be very nice. I think at this point, though, like, I know it's kind of an obvious, but I'd rather a Bulkathos ring. Like, I'm trying to get the gear together to do a really high-end Druid. And a Bulkathos is pretty much exactly what I need for that at this point. Plum Rune, I don't need. Stop it. Yeah, I'm gonna use BK on my hybrid summoner because one to skill, life, leech, and life, and druids with life are they just go together. Like peanut butter and jelly. Like I get single player builds with like 8,000 life, but it requires insane gear to actually get there. And a charms loadout that's going to be very difficult to acquire because pretty much all 3 2020s. But that's the nice thing about single player is you can use that to theory craft and see how things actually play out if it's worth it to get the gear. Take the code ruin now. Oh, lag. Oh, it's in this. Come on. Clear that out. Horked that off of, I think, Lord DeSace when I was just following around a Chaos Run party. I was pretty happy about it. 13, I mean, it could be better, obviously. But it was free, and all I had to do was just not die. Like, Horkers are a great way to build up your arsenal. Now, if only we had the ability to have more characters. Or character slots, or like an unlimited shared stash, or, you know, something so that way you don't have to constantly figure out how you're gonna balance what you keep and what you don't. Like, I have a second account because I need mules. All of them. I was just circlet. I just saw. Thought I saw a second charm also. But probably not. And it's junk. Yeah, I actually traded off a perfect cold damage one that I found a while back. Ended up getting... I don't remember if it was an Ohm rune or a low rune that I got for it. This is like 6 months ago. Yeah, a lot of the time I don't ID magic circlets. I'll do rares, but magic, it's so uncommon to get anything actually worth it. And I'm about to die. Yep. Awesome. That's what happens when life tap doesn't pop. See if I can get that corpse of mine. Oh, let's not go that way, huh? Play a little ring around the rosy, huh? Go. I don't like that it doesn't lock onto people anymore. Like that your targeting can be hijacked by something running in front of what you're attacking. That was a bust, huh? Maybe. Yeah, no, those are junk. Alright. That's not even the one that's got the aura. Oh well. And they're somehow able to break your targeting just by walking away. Got him. Oh yeah. I couldn't remember. It's been so long since I've seen one. I mean, if I didn't have anything better, that'd be fantastic. That's it. Nice. Also nice. Check out those 2 gloves. Do this. Junk. And those are basically junk. And for these, we've got Jade Talon. I don't know what max stats are. And a Hellrack. Again, I don't know what the max stats are on it, but I doubt either. I know that's not a max, and I doubt that is. Give me just a second, I'll see what the Jade Talon maxes are. $190 to 240 with +2/+2 and 15 mana leech with 50 resists. So we've got 2/2 with a 210 and a 15, and the worst roll on the resists. But it is a 2/2. I don't actually need the Hellrack, so I'm just gonna chuck it back on the ground. Because I'm pretty sure I actually have one in my stash currently. Not in the stash, but I know I've got another one. Yup, found that. I was happy. Not that I run a lightning Zork, but it'll trade off for something good. Full of gold. It's 28 to life. Shit. This one's for you. Aw. Aw. Ooh! Excellent! That I'll take. So there's the find of the day. That's a good one. It was a 39% enhanced damage jewel. No other mods, but 39 ED is still quite nice. Alright, what do we got? Anything? Anything? Bueller? Damn. Guess I'll check the Ogre Mall. Ugh. Yeah, it was junk. It was rare. You never know what you're gonna pull for mods on a rare, so I do stuff like that. Oh, no doubt. Awesome. I actually haven't looked at my subs. Like, I've just got chat brought up on my phone right now. Because I don't have my other monitor set up. Great to Vomir. Where'd it go? Good fire resist, but that's about it. I am well, and yourself? And for the record, these are not the droids you are looking for. Alder's Rhythm, which I do not need. I've got like 4 of them on mules. Athen. No, my vacation comes during the winter because I'm a landscaper and I live in New England, so like during the winter I plow, but I don't have a second job or anything. I just stash cash and enjoy some time off that I feel is very well earned. I try and do like at least one. I'd prefer to be able to do 3 videos a week and then a stream on Sunday. But I don't know, I get home from work and I'm just exhausted a lot of the time because I do, 10, 12-hour days. Got the jewel. 4% magic. Gross. Siggins boots that I do not need. That's anything. Not great. That's fine. Project D2, I've actually never played it. I haven't touched modded D2 in well over a decade at this point. Like, I'm not against checking it out at some point, but Resurrected, for me, like, really brought the life back into the game, so that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I like having the option to trade for things, even if it's not something that I'm gonna do all that often. Because, like, I might find something that I will never personally have any use for, but might be worth a fortune. So, I want to be able to trade that off for gear that I would end up using. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have no opinion on Project D2 because, as I said, I've just never played it. So I'm not gonna talk bad about it. I'd just be talking in ignorance because I just don't know anything about it. I mean, it's D2, so it's hard to really not be good just because D2 is such a great game. So I'd imagine it's at least good. Give me that leech. There we go. I will be, actually. That's how I'm gonna finish my stream out. I'm gonna burn through, like, 10 million gold. Saw a Grand Charm. Grab that before I lose it in the fray. Not bad. I don't need that in a Grand Charm, and I wish it had other mods, but... And those are pretty solid too, but I just don't need them. Let's check the amulet. You never know. I've been playing Diablo. Picked up original Diablo back in like 96 or 7, whenever the heck it was relevant. In fact, original Diablo was why I built my first gaming computer way back when. It was an AMD K62, 300 megahertz single core processor. I had a 4 gigabyte hard drive and like, I don't remember how much RAM back then because it's just 25 years ago, or 25 years ago, something like that, you know? But it was, you know, Diablo and Diablo 2 were one of the first, or a couple of the first games that really just hooked me like that. The very first game was actually Mega Man X, and at some point I'll do a playthrough of that on stream because it's one of those games that's just near and dear to my heart, very important for, you know, the games that really just hooked me like that. The very first game was actually Mega Man X, and at some point I'll do a playthrough of that on stream because it's one of those games that's just near and dear to my heart, very important for, you know, the games that really just hooked me like that. The very first game was actually Mega Man X, and at some point I'll do a playthrough of that on stream because it's one of those games that's just near and dear to my heart, very important for my gaming legacy history. Yes, 300 megahertz. I've been around since the days where Pentium was relevant. Yeah, exactly. Back when CRT monitors and TVs were as good as it got before, you know, HD. But I still, I had a monitor way back when that was a CRT that I wish I still had it today, but it unfortunately, like all CRTs, ended up basically just fading out with time. Like, I miss CRT technology so much. It was so much better looking. Charm, where'd you go? There. Yeah, 3-run walk, I'll take it. Commodore 64, hell yeah. Man, I had an original Atari, like Pac-Man. I actually had the ET game. It was as terrible as everybody says it was. I had Pitfall, Yar's Revenge, Enduro, Coleco's Carnival. I think it was Coleco. I loved my Atari. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, that's basically the same story of me. My brother's a couple of years older than I am. He was the computer nerd of the family back then, and then I just kind of took the mantle and ran with it in the 2000s. Because he just kind of fell out of the technology loop and I kept going. But primarily because I was a big gamer. Wow, what a bad run, huh? Yeah, those things were heavy. Like, I remember I don't know, 14 or 15 years old. I think it was a 32-inch CRT TV that I would lug over to my friend's house, like, every weekend, because that was what you did when you were a kid back then. And, oh my god, I don't know how I lifted that thing at such a young age, because it easily weighed as much as I did. Oh yeah, the 5 1/4 inch floppy disks. I remember those. Good. Oh. All garbage. Hey, I applaud anybody who knows more than one language. I know English, and I'm not even that good at it. So anybody that can speak more than one, they got me beat by a lot. Yep, 1984. 2 weeks after Reagan got reelected. Or no, a week rather. That's a shame. Oh yeah, absolutely. Tube technology, as good as it was considering the times, like it super heavy. Absolutely just massive. Some of the heaviest gear you'll ever lug around. I inherited my grandfather's 1945 tube radio. It's got a 15-inch speaker in that thing. It only picks up AM radio, but oh my god, it's this massive wood cabinet. The thing seriously stands 4 feet tall and 2.5 to 3 feet wide, and another 2.5 to 3 feet deep. It must weigh 300 pounds. And it's just a radio. I think he paid like $20 or $30 for it brand new in 1945 when he got home from World War II. Oh, did that wrong. Yeah, exactly. Back then it was like the centerpiece of your living room because everybody got gathered around the radio because it was before television. Like, I was so lucky to know my grandparents and my great-grandparents when I was growing up. The great-grandmother that I knew was born in 1900. She passed away in 97, but she would tell me stories about how she read the newspaper the morning that the Titanic went down and remembered it clear as day. My grandfather was one of, or was supposed to be on the beach on D-Day, but 2 days before his entire platoon got like horrendously sick, so nobody in his platoon ended up going to D-Day. That's probably the only reason I'm alive right now is because his entire platoon just came down with Montezuma's revenge, as they called it. But he was a minesweeper in World War II, never lost a man. Yeah, growing up when I did, I was extremely lucky to know my grandparents and my great-grandparents the way that I did. Not a lot of people get to. Jeez, a lot of those are dropping. Oh, I know exactly the sound you're talking about. Uh, like all tube TVs had that real high pitched whine that most people can't hear, but I could hear it too. So 100%, I get what you're saying on that. Like I hear electronic whine a lot easier than most people. Okay, Grand Charm up there. Grab that. Nice. Take that. Not so nice. Won't keep that. Check Sawaya. Junk. Alright, I'm gonna dump this gold. Still have a Geeds on here somewhere that I can swap on to her. It's an 11. That'll work. Alright, and I'm gonna round my day out with some gambling, as was suggested earlier. Which, truthfully, I had already intended to do anyway, but that doesn't make it any less of a fantastic idea. Do this, get this stuff out the way. That. Put that onto her. And for those who didn't know, this has reduced all vendor prices 15%. It is cheap and super easy to get, and is very well worth it for gambling. Combo that with a Geeds, and though this is only an 11, it's still very nice to have that, 26% off all prices. Alright, let's go! Got 2, 4, 6. Oh, I don't have enough on me, apparently. Well, that was dumb. Let's do it this way. There. Now I'm full up. Alright. Junk. 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 And +2 to assassin, 20 to life. I'll hang on to that one for now, I guess. Hopefully. I still haven't found a Griffins yet. Got 2 to Zon, 20 magic find, bunch of strength, 2 to necro, 10 faster cast. And give that away to somebody. That's solid. If I didn't have better. For now. Well. Ah, missed one. Dang, come on. Now you're getting a little bit ridiculous. There we go. Got 2 to Necro, 13 Magic Find, 3 to Shadow Disciplines with Life Leech, Attack Rating, Strength, and Poison Resist. Assassin, 3 to Martial Arts, 41 damage, bunch of defense, but sucks because it's a tiara. 3 to Disciplines. Alright, Mana Steel, Resist, Assassin, 2 to Zon. Oh, there's the gold limit. We got 39 life and 90 lightning damage. Alright, give me just a sec. I'm just gonna grab a drink out of my fridge. Yes, Edge is only a bow rune word. Otherwise, I'd be running 2 of them. Thork, shapeshifting, only +1, 34, junk. That's almost fantastic. Like, that was so close to being great. Nice, got 6 out of that one. To the summon, to the fire, otherwise junk. Both of those. Here's the last of it. Got 2 to Druids. Rest to jump. There we go. Hell yeah. I'll take it. I got enough to get that now. Nice. And that one's junk too. Alright, let's go over the hall. So we got 2 to Druids with a 20 faster cast, some strength, and some solid lightning resist. That's really good, actually. We got 2 to Necros with 10 faster cast and some strength. Also pretty good for cheap. And 2 to Assassin skills. This one isn't anywhere near as good as the other 2 because it doesn't have any real high quality secondary attributes. You could just as easily go with a Shaco and get, frankly, better. But these 2 are both +2s with faster cast and strength. This one's got lightning resist, so that's... yeah, max lightning res is no joke. That's fantastic. One of the better circlets I've gambled for, to be completely honest. Very happy with that. All in all, today was a pretty decent haul. I mean, nothing, like, outstanding, but still pretty good. Let's chuck these in here. And at some point, I'll mule those over. Last one in that slot would be my Annihilus, which I don't think I have on here. I'm pretty sure that that's just still on my Horker. But it is 5 minutes of noon, so that's several hours. Why not gamble on circlets? Yes and no. The coronets have the easy way of doing it or saying it is that you always have a chance for an upgrade when you're gambling for something. So if you gamble on a coronet and it gives you the upgrade, then you also have the possibility of that upgrade popping a unique item, which for a coronet that would be Griffin's Eye, which is one of the most valuable helmets in the game because of its stats. So that's why most people you'll find gambling for those. Also, the Exceptional and Elites have a better modifier pool to pull from than the Circlets themselves do. Not by much, but statistically it's better. So it's just more worthwhile to gamble on Coronets instead of Circlets. Plus, you don't have to be as high of a level to get the good stats on them. I think for Circlets, you have to be a level 96 to get the best stats. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 96. And I don't have any characters that are 96 yet, so it's just a lot better to go for the Coronets. But, all that being said, I'm going to cut this here, because I do got adulting that I got to do today, unfortunately. That's a part of life, and I can't avoid that. So, thank you, everybody, for stopping in, taking your time out of your day, watching me play video games. You're helping me out a lot. I will definitely be streaming again next week. Sundays are pretty much my, somewhere around 8 a.m. to somewhere around noon I'm going to stream. So, thanks for coming, and I'll see you guys next week.